because the Navigator app is designed to
I would do
place
this
where
job even
people
if I were not
are
being paid
connecting
for
with each
it.
other in order
It's really a passion of mine.
bring
So
together
to be able
partnerships
to
and
help
also
women, especially
share
those
technology.
single women, be a part of their journey.
Hello and welcome to Healthier Habits, a podcast that discusses challenges and solutions when it comes to health and wellness, as well as connecting you to some local resources in Chicago. My name is Cassandra Zumba.
And I am Yakwache and will be your host. We are the Policy, System, and Environmental Coordinators here at the Chicago Partnership for Health Promotion, a program from the Office of Community Engagement and Neighborhood Health Partnerships at UIC.
Welcome back to Season 2 of Healthier Habits. We're so glad you are here. Whether you've been with us from the beginning or tuning in for the first time, thank you for being part of this journey. This podcast is about learning, growing, and connecting through real stories from real people, right here in Chicago.
This season, you can expect even more powerful conversations featuring both familiar voices, new changemakers working to improve health and well-being of our communities. You'll hear from local leaders, grassroots organizers taking action to create healthier habits, not just for themselves, but for those around them.
To kick things off, we're doing something a little different. Today's episode features someone from our own team, a colleague who's launching a new community initiative that we're really excited to share with you. Michael R. Toney brings over a decade of experience in community engagement and has earned a strong reputation for building relationships within the community, business leaders, and key policymakers at the local, state, and federal level. Currently serving as the program coordinator at CPHP, Michael is a passionate health educator and advocate who believes in making lifestyle changes fun, accessible, and empowering, especially in the Chicago's most underserved communities.
Let's jump into the conversation and hear what Michael has in store. Michael, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you for accepting the invitation. How was your drive here?
Pretty exhausting.
Right.
Took longer than anticipated, but made it here in one piece, so I'm grateful.
That's good. That's good. It took me an hour to get here too as well, so it's always nice to just ask people just to see do they have the same commute as well. Before we get into the conversation, we have a little question for you. So what has been your favorite place to visit?
In terms of traveling?
Traveling, yes.
I can't pinpoint one place in particular, but I'll say most recently, surprisingly, I would say London exceeded my expectation.
Okay.
I was under the impression that it would be kind of like a bit dated. Mm-hmm. It does have that historical aspect component. However, it's modern, it's vibrant, it's a lot of energy, a lot of things going on. So it kind of remind me of New York a bit.
A little bit. It's kind of unexpected that you use the word vibrant, because most people, well, like when I'm on the internet, like on Twitter, people usually use like gray or like foggy. So I'm like, vibrant, like what made it vibrant for you?
Luckily, coincidentally, when I was there, I might have been there for a few days. It didn't rain.
Okay.
So it didn't have, so that was an outlier.
What about you, Cassandra? What has been your favorite place to visit?
I did like London. I would absolutely go back. But I also stopped in Rome.
Okay.
And Vatican City, at least like right now in the time, it just brings back a lot of the memories of going to the to that historic area. So that one had a special place in my heart just because I was very encouraged by my grandmother to go. Okay. So I like that. But the last place I went that I really, really liked and enjoyed was Mexico City.
Okay.
Loved it there. It had a combination of Mexican essence, but also the Chicago metropolitan feel of what I know as home. So just having both of those things combined in one place was beautiful. And the food there is wonderful. Yeah. Recommend.
Well, not that this was my favorite question. I was just waiting for someone to ask me this, but I recently just came back from Ghana, and I believe, like, there's no place like home, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been back for like 16 years. I came here when I was 10. So this was my first time going back. And oh my God, like things have changed. But like you said, the essence, I think when you're home, it's warm. You see people who look like you. You speak the language. Mm-hmm. The food is delicious. And it's just like, I didn't want to come back. But here I am right now. But that was one of my favorite places to travel to. Mm-hmm.
Did you go for the festival? Was it the Afrochella or the Afrobeat?
No,
Afrobeats,
no.
was it?
Yeah, there is Afrochella in Ghana, but I went to, it was my grandma's 80th birthday, and it was also to see family for the first time in 16 years. So yeah, it wasn't really a concert, but next year, 2026, then it's going to be for my enjoyment. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a blessing.
Well, I think everyone out there got an opportunity to see our own little personalities, but now let's focus on you, Michael. So we did a little bit of your bio, but please introduce yourself, share your role here at CPHP, and then whatever you'd like to share.
Sure, my pleasure. Again, my name is Michael Toney. Work for Chicago Partnership for Health Promotion here at UIC. We provide resources to prevent abate health disparities in marginalized, underserved communities. I was initially a nutrition educator, did that for a couple of years, but now I am a PSE program coordinator. And essentially what that looks like, we provide an assessment of the community to determine what they may need on the policy system and environmental change aspect of public health. And we're essentially trying to make the healthy choice the easy choice and make sure that that's a sustainable effort. So in terms of nutrition, physical activity to prevent health disparities, it should be second nature. It shouldn't be something that's essentially too difficult to make a determination in the foods that we make. Decisions and preparing and eating and being encouraged to be more physically active. So that is my role. I find it very impactful, meaningful, and I enjoy it.
I know you go to a lot of fairs and do a lot of booths. Is there any event that sticks out or your favorite one that you look forward to year by year?
The Renaissance Festival is a really good one because it brings out the entire Auburn Gresham community, a lot of different organizations, again, the community, but things that resonate with me the most in terms of attending these resource fairs, when you see people reoccurring at these fairs and you either identify with them or you recognize them or they recognize you, that goes a long way in terms of the human component, the human aspect, humility. It's very impactful to me that you take time to address people, acknowledge them, and they feel it's very meaningful coming from us, the university, having our back and the support from our organization. So that's something that's huge and resonates with me and brings me excitement, a level of excitement and enjoyment.
So you've had over a decade of expertise as being a health educator and advocate, right?
Community engagement work.
Community engagement work.
Mm-hmm.
So you've worked, like you said, as a NPE and then as a PSC. In both positions, what key projects have you been involved in that you would like to share?
Internally, I worked on the Grow Your Own Grocery initiative with Oren, our very own Oren. So we're teaching people how to grow their gardening in their homes or wherever they have the capacity of space to grow gardens. I've worked 3 years consecutively on the planning committee for the Health and Hunger Summit, the Eat Smart, Spend Smart initiative with the Treasurer's Office, City of Chicago. And lastly, our very own CPHP Community Marathon Project. So that's something that I'm spearheading on the PSE side. Very excited. It's a soft launch. This is our inception, our first year. So that is the special project that I'm tasked with and I'm currently working on.
So the Community Marathon Project, like you said, it's a signature initiative. So what inspired you to start this project, or how did this idea just came about?
Admin kind of planted the seed internally in terms of creating an initiative that will be an opportunity to advocate for the community to be more physically active. And internally, people were familiar that I had pivoted during COVID to engage more in walks and runs, considering that gyms were closed. So I was kind of like nudged a bit, and that's where the opportunity presented itself out of internally admin. But yeah, I kind of grew legs and it's turned to something of its own.
And you said you started being involved in like walks during COVID. So when you were thinking of, or when they planted the seed, who was this project designed for? Who did you have in mind when you were going through the process? And then what was like the intended impact for the project?
Initially, we were going to cater towards school-age children because we have relationships with Chicago Park districts, CPS, Chicago Public Schools. However, it made more sense to encompass entire family. Like why not include the moms, the dads, grandparents, everyone in the community. We don't necessarily want to not encourage people who are currently physically active, but encourage those that need that little nudge, the little, hey, I'm on the fence of needing that encouragement, that level of accountability to be more physically active. So just meeting people where they are, having a sense of building community, being more familiar with your neighbors, having discussions and addressing needs, and hopefully have an impact on your health, to have overall improved health and to prevent health disparities. So.
And I think that's a great little pivot you'd made, like not just excluding the family around it, especially because a lot of the opportunities to work out or walk is during these nice weather times. And well, kids are out of school by early June, right? And so we want them to stay active during that time. Even though they're hopefully in other extracurricular things, but having the family also participate shows example for the kids. And then also, I'm pretty sure as an adult who's chaperoning this, you have to live up to the moment, right? So if you're putting the good example, you're gonna be like, yeah, no sweat, I could do on my own. If you could do it, I could do it. So I feel like this is like a mutual like healthy competition or healthy encouragement to kind of push everyone in the whole family to stay active.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even as PSC coordinators, like when we think of what makes someone like make a decision to, make a healthy action, it's all about like the social norms. Like you don't just, you get your norms from your peers, you get your norms from your family who show you, this is either the correct way or this is how you're supposed to behave. So like, including the whole family shows your parents, you're able to see your grandparents, you're able to see your friends, you're able to see the whole community in general, act in a way that, you would want to as well, to make a change in that. So like providing or including everyone is also a good way to sustain the change. Because not only are we trying to make a change now, but we're trying to make it long-term. We're also trying to also... 10 years from now, someone is still using the same change that we're trying to make.
Right, those kids are going to grow up and hopefully learn from that example and be like, all right, now it's my turn to be that person who helps somebody else. And then kids don't have the autonomy to be like, oh, I'm going to go to the park by myself. You still need to kind of have that guidance by somebody else. So involving those adults as well is helpful to again, sustain it.
Yeah. So how does this project work?
There are a number of ways that participants can participate in the project. In the event they come across one of our flyers that you've may seen posted in the Chicago Park District, Chicago Library, or you've may received from a neighbor or a friend, you can simply scan the QR code. With scanning the QR code, you fill out a form with your information. Additionally, you'll fill out an exercise waiver. In the event you have a smartphone, you can download the Nike Run Club app, and that will track your progress. You could join our challenge, and you can see the participants live in terms of when they participated in the race, how frequently, and the mileage, calories burned. So, and then in the event you don't have a smartphone, that's perfectly fine. We don't want you to be discouraged. We're trying to create a way where we can provide pedometers so people won't feel left out. We want this to be an inclusive project, campaign, initiative, what have you. But that's essentially it. In the event that people partner with an initiative, a walking group within their community, the lead or walking group leader can provide tracking of your mileage. So don't be discouraged. We want everyone to participate. Children, grandma, mom, dad, your aunts, your neighbors, everyone. We want everyone to participate. So spread the word.
You mentioned you want to reach out to those that are on the fence. So sometimes I may not be inclined to go to the gym because it's cold outside. I got to go in my car. I have to drive there. There are people there at the gym. So what are the incentives for people to join this?
Ultimately, it should be an incentive to improve your health. I think that's like the number one incentive. But again, the emphasis on building community, getting to know your neighbors, improving your health, improving your wellness, getting optimal sleep, just overall improvement of your overall health. I think that is paramount to this project. But there's so many aspects in terms of being more conscientious of being physically active, just being awareness of your health, creating discussions and dialogue of what's going on in the community. A lot of times people are left in the dark in terms of resources that are available. For instance, I meet with a walking group regularly Tuesday and Thursdays at Cole Park, and I met someone that could be potentially a participant for this project. She has the information. We'll see if she's going to sign on board. But in terms of resources that are available, she was unaware of the walking program that was there in her own community and that park district. So I told her that, hey, there's a walking group that already exists here. They meet Tuesday and Thursdays, 10 to 12 o'clock. Additionally, we have a community marathon project that you could participate in. So she was like, oh my God, I was blown away. You know, I'm recovering from a health ailment and I need that extra push, that extra encouragement to, you know, be active. So she's going to share the word, hopefully with her neighbor and her friends, and participate in this program. So that's what we're looking to do. Press upon those people who need the extra encouragement, the next extra push, who may not necessarily get it otherwise. So.
And then if I may back up just a little bit, because I feel like if I'm coming from the outside looking at this, community marathon sounds very daunting. So are you wanting me to run the 20-something miles in a day?
Right.
Can I take my time? Is there, what are the parameters? How can I participate? Can I participate? Is it going to be overwhelming? You know, what is the level of physical
Expectation.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. So for someone who's pretty physically active and participate in marathons regularly, 13.1 miles, 26.2 miles is not too daunting. They can do that in a day. However, someone who's not that physically active, the goal or idea is that you can do this within a year, that parameter. So it's not too much pressure. You can go and do a quarter mile, half a mile, and over time it'll accumulate. But who knows, you may do over 26 miles. That's the idea that, hey, in over a year or less than a year, I did X amount of miles in this amount of time. So again, the emphasis of this being a sustainable effort, something that can carry on generationally to improve health. Something that I did leave off. We are going to have additional incentives. We're going to leave something out there so you guys can be intrigued and participate. We don't want to give away all of what's going on with this project, but stay tuned. There will be some actual tangible and physical incentives other than.
So you mentioned that you could do this, one can participate throughout the year, right?
Sure.
Is there a specific time frame that you want everyone as a community, as Chicago, to start and end, just so we can all kind of track it out, the overarching goal that we get to as a city?
Sure. The challenge is live now. It'll be up for approximately a year. There are walking groups and initiatives that I'm currently partnering with. You can participate now if you're interested, or you can wait until you're partnering with a walking group, a walking club, or you can reference our schedule once it's available, and we'll have scheduled walks and runs within the community, and we'll also upload scheduled runs within these different groups. So there are quite a few walking groups and races and walks that are scheduled in the coming months, like June, August. But from now to October, where the Chicago City Marathon kicks off, we hope to have some scheduled internally with CPHP.
Well, like you mentioned, this is a soft launch.
Yeah.
So you are putting all your efforts into trying to future plan and figure out what are the little hiccups that may come up. But as you go through this and as you experience, as you get feedback from the community, there's going to be a lot more changes for the good.
Absolutely.
So, again, this is an awesome program that I think you are spearheading, and hopefully, those events will bring more people along. In regards to bringing people along, I know you are connecting walking groups to this program as well. What would you recommend, or how can one of those walking groups reach out to kind of be part of this program?
Sure. I'm currently working with approximately 3 to 4 walking groups, initiatives, clubs, but we're not limited to those. I can be contacted via email, mrtoney, that's Toney, @uic.edu. You can contact me directly in the event you have any interest in participating in the program, or if you want to participate as a walking group leader, I can provide more information. Additionally, participants can, again, access that QR code on flyers that I've been disseminating throughout the community. It may be in your local park district, community center, library. You can access that and register and be a participant in this program. But again, you can contact me via email, mrtoney, Toney, at uic.edu, and I can provide additional information.
Yeah, we'll be putting your information in the description below, and hopefully a link to as well to this program, so people can just go straight and read on themselves.
So, what areas are you primarily targeting or are going to be served with this project?
Okay, we in CPHP, we provide resources in 5 specific regions. So those regions, however, we're not limited to those regions. So we have Auburn, Gresham, Humboldt Park, Brighton Park, South Shore, and Roseland. So we have an emphasis and presence in those regions and neighborhoods, but we're not limited to those regions. We would like for our participants to be SNAP Ed eligible. So primarily people who are in underserved, marginalized communities.
As we go through, you say we're starting now, right? How are participants going to track their progress in maybe a year span or a few months, depending on how they're able to move?
Sure. In the event the participant scans the QR code, follows the instructions, downloads the app, if they have the ability to do so, they can track their progress through the app quantitatively in terms of pace, calories burned, mileage completed, where they rank in the competition. So those components can be tracked that way. However, if you are linked with a group or if you're linked with one of our runs, we could provide that information if we have a set parameter in terms of the scheduled run. So if we have a scheduled run for earmarked for 1 or 2 miles, you'll know that, hey, this is what I'm going to accomplish or attempt to accomplish.
And if I remember correctly, you're an avid runner. Is that true?
I'm like a beginner runner. I've done like a few 5Ks, but nothing.
A few.
Well, that's more than most.
Yeah.
So what would be your recommendation for someone who's starting, maybe at the beginning level and maybe at the mid-level?
I think it's really important to emphasize the importance of injury prevention. So the importance of staying hydrated to prevent cramping. Stretching is important. Giving yourself some grace. Be kind to yourself. Slow but sure wins the race.
Yeah.
Consistency over time. So those are ways that you can measurably increase and improve upon time. But make sure that if you're going to engage in a physical activity, make sure it's going to be fun, something that you're going to continue to do, because if you don't find enjoyment out of it, you're not going to stick with it. So if it's running or walking specifically, maybe curate your favorite tunes, your favorite rap songs or gospel or your Afro beats, and have that dedication to that so you're going to be inspired and motivated to stick with it.
Yeah, and one thing we always repeat in a lot of our classes is listen to your doctors, right? If you know you cannot do something, we understand, you should understand. Don't push yourself if you cannot get to where you want to be right now. Maybe it's a progression thing. Maybe you can get there. But always go and follow the advice of your doctors.
Absolutely.
There's no reason for you to push yourself when at the end you're going to end up hurting yourself. So you have to make sure that you're following and you're listening to your body. Listen to your body. It will tell you what you can and cannot do. So follow medical advice.
So in these walking groups, are there anyone maybe, in any project, there's always the team, right? But then there's also someone that maybe takes accountability or responsibility of the team. Is there such a thing as that in this group?
Sure. We're looking to recruit walking group leaders within the regions that we serve. So in Auburn, Gresham, South Shore, Brighton Park, Humboldt Park, and Roseland. However, a lot of the initiatives that are currently started, what have you, the point of contact person, I would say, would be the suggested walking group leader in terms of keeping people together and having a plan, a scheduled, identified area where they're going to have the walk or run, but we're looking to recruit people to keep people engaged, motivated, and inspired.
Okay, so I'm interested. Let's say I'm interested. Now I've decided I want to actually start running and I want to lead the walking group. What would be my responsibilities?
We hope that you have familiarity with the area or the track or the identified trail that you're going to lead the group. Excellent communication skills, that would be a plus. Have awareness of your area. There may be an opportunity for you to adapt in the event you sense danger or things may not be going to plan. If you have any challenges or any inclement weather, just being mindful of that. But someone that can hold people accountable and motivate people and track specifically what was covered during that duration of time and schedule walks and runs at identified tracks and trails.
Sometimes it's a sense you might want to start some kind of physical activity, workout, or something like that. Sometimes you just need the goal to work towards. At least that it is for me, right? So I've only done a 5K like maybe once or twice. But that encouraged me to train. I put that in quotations because train, I'm not running, I'm jogging, right? Most of the time. Maybe I take a walking break. Right. But that end goal helps me sustain some kind of schedule to be active. So maybe you want to create that group, you and your friend, you and your workspace as well, and have that goal at the end of like, okay, let's see how much we can do in a year. Maybe can we make to that marathon and put your own parameters within the next month, within the next 2 months. Start at a base, right? Figure out what your body can take or what the group can take. See how long it takes you to do a mile. Then from there, start progressing. But I feel like this program helps put in an encouragement because there is like an end goal. Yeah. At least that's the way my brain works. If I know there's an end goal and there's a final date, I might sometimes be a procrastinator. So I'll be like, I'll get it done. Yeah. But I need something to work towards. So I think this program will totally help, at least for me. And I know I'm going to have my friend do it. We go on walks once in a while at the lakefront. But, just walks. Now it's going to be like, okay, now I want to make sure by the end of this month, I at least get 3 miles in, right? Yeah. Which can be separated on whatever comfortable time you want. But again, it gives me that encouragement to do it.
Well, for those that may be adverse to that, those that may need like the extra encouragement, because sometimes I find myself doing well the first week. The first week of New Year, you see a bunch of people in the gym, but then week 2, people drop off. Week 3, people drop off. How do you plan, or how would you train the running champions on like strategies to motivate the community? Because sometimes life happens. Yeah. On a Saturday, you may be available, but next week you have to take care of something, you have work. So how do you plan on keeping the community motivated or engaged in this?
Just holding each other accountable would be a good device in terms of if people start falling off the bandwagon. In the event they have the app, they can look at participants' rankings. So you'll be like, your neighbor may have accomplished 5 miles or 2 miles within the duration of the week, and be like, maybe a little nudge for yourself, like, I gotta get it going. I gotta tie my bootstraps and catch up with my neighbor, or just the mere fact of, like you all emphasize, just trying to reach that goal. That can be encouraging in itself. But ultimately, I think, people would find themselves or the group that they participate in to hold them accountable and motivate and be inspired to improve their health and improve health outcomes overall.
And I like how you mentioned that life happens. So don't get discouraged. Like, there is going to be obstacles. There is going to be scheduling conflicts. There is going to be all of that stuff. As long as you remember that you got to find your way back, that's where we want you to be. This is very beginner friendly. So this is for you to start creating that system for yourself.
And it's no pressure. You have an entire year. So, give yourself grace. It's perfectly fine if you have to go on vacation or address some personal or professional needs. You can always come back. You can always come back and participate.
So for the running champions, or the team leads, as you may describe them, what are some avenues for professional development or any type of or would there be any type of certifications that will be provided at the end? Like, I want to show a company that I led this team to this. Are there opportunities for that?
Sure. In the event you are interested in being a walking group leader or a champion, we suggest or we emphasize that you participate in our professional development PowerPoint, which highlights scheduling group runs, why you should be doing it, time and location for participants to meet, sending reminders, maintaining the engagement, strategies for motivating the community. All of that will be included within the PowerPoint, and upon completion, they'll receive a certificate. Okay. And again, all participants will receive some form of incentive, but we'll have something special for those identified walking group leaders as well.
You've mentioned that there are other walking groups that maybe the Chicago Park District does. So what makes yours different as compared to other walking groups? What sets it apart?
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Mm-hmm. We're more trying to be a connector in terms of bringing awareness in the community that initiatives like this already exist. Yeah. And bringing people together, bringing all these groups together. Again, I mentioned previously, a lot of resources are available. However, people are not aware of it. Yeah. So, I think what is most unique about this experience and project is community building, not the overemphasis on being physically active, but addressing adversity challenges within your own community, going on spirited walks and talks to address needs. And as a result, you're being more conscientious in addressing health disparities and improving your health. So
I think we share that sentiment for the mission of this podcast, right? Again, we're not reinventing anything. A podcast is not a new concept. Right. There's too many of them, we know. But we're here to connect. That, like you said, there's a lot of resources out there that not a lot of people are aware of or are afraid to take that first step or don't know who to connect to. So that's kind of what we're trying to as well. Put a friendly face in front, give you a little context, and then hopefully you take that other step on your own and create that sustainable change, right?
Yeah. And then speaking of that sustainable change and then the long-term impact, are there, how does this project address community needs? Because we've talked about community engagement, community strategies. And then you've spoken about the communities that CPHP primarily serves. So what are the community needs or the gaps that you see that you're trying to address?
Well, I know with meeting with one group specifically, I had suggested a specific time or a specific date where we should have these scheduled runs, but they had already done the back work in terms of addressing the community, identifying when it would be suitable for them to have these runs. So a lot of that initiative has been done previously by coalitions, organizations that have successfully had initiatives like this. This is the second iteration for a lot of the groups. And one specifically, this is their first time. So they're, looking at the different challenges they may arise upon as we are as well. So,
yeah, I think one thing I noticed when I first started, and I was in the North Lawndale community, and they had a town hall meeting, and one of the community needs was walkability, having a walkable sidewalk, and that can deter people from, leaving their house to walk outside or during the summer when the weather is nice. So, having a working group, walking at a specific place can address those needs. So finding that that space to walk, because you still want your stroll in the summer to feel the nice weather, but maybe your community may not be walkable. The sidewalk may prevent you from walking as well.
And I forgot to mention, we've identified walking guides for the 5 regions that we worked within. So they're not limited to those areas. Again, they're encompassing the surrounding areas. So Auburn, Gresham, Brighton Park, Humboldt Park, South Shore, Roseland. We have walking guides and I've identified trails and tracks within those communities where participants may not necessarily be familiar with those communities. So it'll be an opportunity to be on a tour, so to speak, and navigate things that may be of interest to you that you ordinarily wouldn't be exposed to, like a mural or some historical aspect or component. So we're open to suggestions in the event that you already have a trail or a specific track that you may navigate within your community, and we can add that to the latest iteration to our walking trails as well. But yeah, in the event that you need some advice or suggestions, we have them available, and we're not limited to those. We're open to suggestions as well. So.
Yeah, you're just trying to troubleshoot some of the complications that may arise. You know, you have already suggestions to help people get it started.
So this project is supposed to be long-term, or that's your goal, for it to be long-term and then for you to sustain it. Are there any collaborations that you're looking for, like, or throughout the years you want to partner with someone to sustain those initiatives or the initiatives that you have planned?
Sure. We're open to community organizations and coalitions. Currently looking to partner with the Chicago Park Districts. We currently have summer camps, so we want to carve out a space for children to be more physically active, walk, run, capture that. And then again, maybe CPS can address this as well during recess or a break, what have you. Any other organization that may be looking to address being more physically active. We're open to partner, work collaboratively with these organizations.
And I think we've touched on this a little bit, but do you foresee any challenges that might come up, or challenges that you want to put up to the audience that maybe they can help with or source information?
Sure. I expect for it to be challenging for people who aren't that tech savvy in terms of navigating the QR code and the registration form, as well as the app, which is perfectly fine. I feel that it may be challenging to get people on board, the buy-in to participate. But again, I'm out in the community. I'm engaged in the community. I'm, notifying that, things and initiatives like this exist. For instance, yesterday, I came across a lady at the Park District, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't even know the Park District had a walking group. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, we have a community marathon project too. You may want to participate after their initiative is over, because I believe theirs is from April to June. So you can continue to participate in a program that will you be able to hold yourself accountable and continue to be an opportunity to improve your health.
How would you plan to measure the success for this project? Like, for you, is it X amount of people joined, so that's successful for you? Or for you, would it be, one person brings in a family member? So how do you measure the success of this project?
The miles count.
Like the quantitative aspect, I think it will be captured from the walking group leaders or the actual app. It'll capture total miles, calories, pace, but ultimately capturing the number of participants, I think that's paramount. And if we can capture X amount of participants participated during this duration of time, and they walked or ran X amount of miles and burned X amount of calories, that'd be awesome to picture that. So quantitatively, that'd be good. But to address the qualitative aspects, I think that can be addressed in a survey in terms of addressing improvements, challenges, what keeps people motivated, encouraged, what keeps them accountable. So.
And wouldn't it be great, as maybe one of the leaders of the walking group, to say, as a group, we completed a marathon,
Yeah.
right?
Or
So
more.
equivalent to a marathon, right? In this amount of time, whatever it may be, but just having that, like, we did what would have been a marathon,
That
right?
bragging right, yeah.
That bragging right, of course. And then from group to group, we can make it from neighborhood to neighborhood, right? And then collectively as Chicagoans,
The city of Chicago.
we completed a marathon, and then we can add all those miles and see exactly how many miles, because if we have enough people participate, it's going to be, I don't know, hundreds, thousands, I don't know. I'm going to be pretty optimistic. But just having those bragging rights, like, yeah, I completed a marathon, in quotes, but it still counts, because not a lot of people can get to that goal at the end.
And it'd be cool just to frame that, just to compare different regions to see how many participants, how many miles, and then what were their motivations? Was it their walkability of the areas? Were there people that were more spirited in nature of physical activity, like addressing that? So there are a lot of things that could be addressed in terms of motivating factors or things lack thereof that may hinder you from being motivated.
Yeah, and if we remember that the official recommendation is half an hour, 30 minutes of physical activity.
Most days.
And most days, you will be able to complete many of those miles if you just use the recommendation, of course.
All right, so thank you for a really lovely conversation. I am now motivated to start doing little by little, maybe the 30 minutes. So do you have a call of action? Like, what do you want the community to do before we end our conversation?
Just to be more conscientious of what we are eating, drinking, and the amount of physical activity that we get to prevent health disparities. That's really important to control what we can control. So just be more mindful, having these conversations with our family, our neighbors, which can, lead to being in control of our lives and longevity, ultimately. Being on this earth as long as possible.
And that sounds great. Participate, scan the QR code, create a walking group, reach out for some technical assistance. You know how you can start participating in this, and if you already have one, well, just start logging things in, and we can do this together. Hopefully, in the summer, we get to participate and join you in some of the events. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I look forward to it. It'll be fun.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much
project.
for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And then before, I know you mentioned social media in between the conversation, but for a last final time so the audience could just hear. Any social media, Instagram, Facebook, email?
I'm sure it'll be marketed on our website, the EATMOVESAVE. Again, I could be reached at my email, mrtoney, Toney, @uic.edu in the event you want to participate or you need additional information or if you want to be a walking group leader, please feel free to contact me. But I think that'll be the most viable solution to reach out to our Instagram social media page at EATMOVESAVE. It'll be marketed on there. And then again, you can email me as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to our Healthier Habits with your host,
Cassandra Zumba.
and Yakwache.
You can help support the podcast by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Follow us on our social media accounts. We are on Instagram, Facebook as EATMOVESAVE, YouTube as UIC and look for that podcast tab for more episodes.
If you would like more information on partnering with our organization, head over to our website, cphp.uic.edu, and send us a message.
Thank you for joining this chat. Check out our links and resources in the description. See you next time. Bye.
This institution is an equal opportunity provider. This material is funded by the USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP.
Eat, Move, Save.